Nice.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm sure many people who have followed my channel or many other channels that cover the likes of Amberlynn Reid, Foodie Beauty and other dainty queens, you will have heard of Mr. Snowflake. Recently, Mr. Snowflake put out a near 2-hour interview with Casey. Within the Content Constable series, I have mentioned Casey before. Casey was a lot younger then though. Casey is one of Amberlynn Reid's exes. Casey is now female to male transgender. Casey, during that interview with Mr. Snowflake, made a number of statements, and the one that really stuck with me was the age gap when asking for imagery. An accusation, of course. Amberlynn, though, has put out a video on her channel responding to this, kind of. And we're going to look at how Amber responds to it because it's vitally important. It's vitally important to show how the dainty queen herself treats these allegations and the criticism she has received when you add to that what we have seen over the years with other partners of hers. Of course, if YP for Lean puts out any content on YouTube talking about this, it will, if anything, just confirm what everyone believes, because I have no doubt YP will have a similar story to that of Becky, to that of Destiny, to that of Casey, with one massive difference. That difference would be the fact that Casey being 16, Amber being 18, Amber asking for indecent images. I say it that way because YouTube will flag it. The age of consent in many countries can be quite low. In mine it's 16. In 34 states of the United States of America, it is 16 years of age. In some, it is 17 or 18. Many of us believe the age of consent should be a bit higher, because at the age of 16, you're really still not fully developed. But that is a debate for another time. In my country, it is illegal to send indecent images to another person if you are under the age of 18, which means if you have, and you are 18 or over, received images from somebody who is under the age of 18, you have committed a crime that falls within the bracket of noncery. In the United States of America, it is a federal crime to possess or create sexually explicit images of any person under 18 years of age, regardless of consent. In the interview with Mr. Snowflake, Casey made it quite clear Amber asked for images when Casey was 16 years old. Amber was 18. That's not okay. It really isn't. And one can be dismissive about this if one would like to, perhaps in video form on their rather tragic YouTube channel that is going the way of the dinosaurs because they can't make content. Even with this presented to them, they still lack the intellectual acumen to turn it into something that could actually be beneficial to them. Of course, addressing it would be ideal, unlikely though considering the inability of the person we are speaking of. But Amber put out a video titled The Interview with My Ex and Weight Loss Update. Obligatory spoiler on the weight loss, there is none to lose. She is her perfect final form, and she claims to have not weighed herself for a while. I think it's because she broke her scales and can't be bothered to buy a new set because she can't afford it. But let's go to what Amber has to say concerning the interview with her ex.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good midnight. So I'm actually getting ready for a Christmas party. I'm trying to decide which type of cardigan, yes, we have a mess, but it's fine, which type of cardigan I'm going for. So I have 3 options. So let's test them out. Just set you guys right there. Okay, so these are in no particular order.
That final sentence sums up your entire channel at this point, Amber. Who on earth titles a video The Interview with My Ex and Weight Loss Update to then start by talking about going to a party? Well, that's right, Dismissivlynn Reid. Somebody who's not taking what has been said or levied at her remotely seriously. Kel Surprise, I guess?
So we have the black one, which is giving safe. It's giving exactly what you'd expect Amberlynn to wear. Here we have like an off-white cream. It's very Santa hat coated. It's giving Mrs. Claus, unlike Mrs. Claus. And last but not least, we have a half of the black and half of the off-white, giving Cruella de Vil, which is actually exactly what this is from. This is from Torrid, the villain arc. So it literally is half and half.
To anyone that pays a lot more attention to Amber than I do, so all of you, I have no doubt this one is intentional. Because with the nature of the subject as well, she is going to be seen as the villain regardless. So she's going to lay some bait knowing that there will be some responses, and those responses will send people her way. What she doesn't know is that there is a growing community on places like Twitter who are actively boycotting you by having one person watch your content. That person then creates a Twitter thread reviewing that video. They do it with Chantel. I've seen it plenty, and her views aren't doing particularly good either, but at least her views have been semi-consistent for years, whereas yours are getting closer and closer to where her views reside.
So, which one do I choose? Okay, I went with the black one. It just felt right in my soul. Wearing a heart necklace, which I wish was more closer to my neck. A lot of people think my necklaces are just like tight because I'm fat. No, it's because I like them tight. See all this extra?
I'm not going to deny this seems quite trivial. I'll also admit I did not know up until this point you wore necklaces beyond the choker, because I usually made it a point to try and see within your videos if I could find it. Because over the course of the years, the many years that I've had to pay attention, you have chosen different angles to either make it more prominent or less visible. The less visible is the fat girl selfie angle of just up above to make it look like your chin is one, yes? The more recent content involves the camera being lowered down so you hold your head up a bit higher. But because you're getting older, things are becoming a bit more apparent. Also, you're still in the 500s, so not far from being bedbound again. Now, when are you going to actually get to the sodding point of addressing, quotes around that, the interview with Mr. Snowflake?
Yeah, I'm just not really a long necklace type of girly.
Okay, again, this seems trivial, but I don't understand why you'd want them so tight in the first place. I don't get it. I know it's a distraction, I get it, but fam, I wear necklaces, but I like to know they hang reasonably loose. If I had them so tight on my neck, I'd worry that I would lose circulation. But also a necklace is supposed to hang, isn't it? This is silly.
And I'm just a quirky girly, so...
Yes, there's nothing quite so quirky as wearing an off-white and black cardigan on what can only be considered a rather large 400-pound bodysuit over the top of the body that is desperately trying to not give up. This video is 13 minutes long. The first 2 minutes of it are Amberlynn Reid talking about going to a party, and the end part you saw there, and now see me looping a bit on, is her about to go to the party. But because we're still within the non-tent era of Prolynn Reid, she's not going to show us the party, which most of us would correctly surmise to be nothing more than sat in front of the television, Netflix, and buzzballing it, and chilling solo. So skip to the next day.
The Christmas party was super fun. I met actually quite a few subscribers. So if you're watching, hello. It was so good meeting you guys. And then me and my mom went to Ulta and I got her a couple Christmas gifts and she was going to get me one, but unfortunately they didn't have what she was going to get me. So we might just order it online. But y'all, I've gotten so many compliments on my freaking cardigan. So I think it was the right choice. And I agree. It added a little flair to it. I'm so glad I didn't just stick with just the plain old black one.
While I am eternally happy that you are meeting subscribers and that they love you, try not to forget here you are an internet lolcow. As an internet lolcow, people are going to treat you with kindness because they're going to find ways to trap you and make you say dumb things, do dumb things. Prolynn Reid will strike again. This video is a testament to that, by the way.
Hey guys, welcome to a new vlog, but it's not a new vlog. It is literally the same one. Welcome to a new day.
In case you didn't know, the year of 2023 is the year of Amberlynn's catchphrase. So it's the next day. She's found a way to take a vlog, which typically is a one-day affair, and spread it out over a number of days into one video because she does sod all, but still considers herself a social media influencer and a vlogger. Lazy Lynn Reid really does like to find any excuse not to do something. Like, I don't know, address the interview.
I hope that you guys are having a good day. It's a beautiful day to be alive. I'm just thankful and grateful every single day that I wake up. I have a roof over my head. I have a wonderful job.
If you'd like, we can do a quarterly performance review of your channel right now, where we can tell you the past 3 months, so not including December, which will also be quite low. Your views are looking absolutely atrocious, and it should be speculated correctly according to Social Blade, your views for December will be the lowest you've had all year. You may love your job, but if I were your boss, I'd fire you for failing to do so much as 1 ounce of content in favour of turning that C 90 degrees to the right for what you've actually been making.
I have my fur babies that I love so dearly. They're literally my heart. I have great friends and people who are there for me and care about me. Like, I just have a list of things to be grateful for. And sometimes I feel like people just take things for granted. I'm gonna speak for myself. I know that I do that. I'm trying very hard to get better with that, honestly. But hello. I'm actually running a few errands today. I feel like I've just been doing that a lot. My mom likes to take me on her little errand runs, and then I run some errands. It's just like a fun little time. Like, I really enjoy spending time with my mom.
That was barely a minute and a half for you to put some asinine statement of gratitude. What is wrong with you? Serious allegations were levied against you, and this is what you do with the first 3.5 minutes of your video. You spread out 2 bits from 2 separate days with multiple day gap between to produce absolute non-tent drivel. I think I could produce better content by just having a still image on there. Oh wait.
Hey guys, so it's actually been a few days since you saw me, so hello. I am not the greatest vlogger right now. I told myself, you know what, December, I'm just gonna not worry so hard about vlogging. This is the first Christmas back with my family, which is crazy. Like, I haven't spent a Christmas with my mom since I was 14. And I'm gonna be 33 in a few days, so that's crazy. Like, truly crazy.
Yes, I'm sure many people who hate watch you or now look at Twitter threads that review your content will undoubtedly have a community that have a pool to work out when you would finally kick it, as it were. Anyone guessing under the age of 33 was incorrect. Sorry, folks. If you can guess my number in the comments, you have an equally morbid sense of humour. I like it.
But today is actually Christmas, so Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate it, Happy Holidays or hello, good day. This is my 10th Christmas on the YouTubular, which is another crazy situation type deal. That's a whole decade. So there is obviously an elephant in the room.
Finally. We're finally going to get to the part I actually wanted to get to the most, but I didn't want to skip anything in case I get accused of cherry picking or quote mining. No. We don't do them tings here. No. It's actually why I've not played the Casey interview at all, because I'm going to link it in the pinned comment. I highly recommend everyone go and watch that for the full context. I know it's nearly 2 hours long, but for the sake of it, it is vitally important that you watch that. And I'm sure many of you have already, to be honest. It has phenomenal views and really does highlight just the kind of damaging person, toxic person Amberlynn is. So let's see how long this segment goes on for.
Not a pun. The interview that my ex did. So I did watch it. It was hard to watch for several different reasons.
1, because Casey spoke the truth. 2, because it reminded you of how much of a crappy person you are. 3, because this level of toxicity didn't end when you were 18. 4, because while you were younger, you've not actually changed, so that's the same point said twice. 5, because the truth typically does hurt. 6, because you'd rather be watching the Da Vinci Code on Netflix. 7, because when you get up in your feels, it's hard for you to get out of your feels. And 8, because how are you meant to make non-tent when 2 hours of your day has been wasted listening to somebody else complain about how much of a crappy person you are? 9, there's a chance this could happen with Destiny and Becky as well, who I have said multiple times I would love to interview. I said it all last year, and I really should just reach out to Destiny, shouldn't I?
Everyone deserves the opportunity to voice their side of the story. No one deserves to feel silenced. I feel like having the opportunity to share your side of the story and your perspective of a situation that happened is sometimes honestly really good for the soul. I know from firsthand that sometimes talking about things feels like a really big weight is lifted off of your shoulders and your heart, and sometimes it's healing for some people. So
when one has a platform like you have, one like what Mr. Snowflake is growing, it is fantastic to be able to air your opinion to a large audience, knowing there's a chance some will listen to you. If you've built an entirely positive community, which is quite rare but possible, you will find phenomenal support on your side. The court of public opinion, vitally important when it comes to the optics of any situation. The flip side to that is, if you build an entire community off the back of you putting on nearly £250 of additional weight from when you started 10 years ago, fail completely at every diet, repeat a cycle every single year, multiple times during the year, lie about everything you've ever gone through, milk everything that you've ever gone through, to then spend the past 3 years of your YouTube career tanking your channel because of your non-tentness mindset, Lynn Reid-ness, you'll often find how you respond now with the platform you have is very important and telling. You know, though, that unlike Mr. Snowflake, who has gotten phenomenal views from this, you won't, because you don't know how to articulate your counterpoints. You also don't know how to articulate guilt. You don't know how to articulate remorse. You also know that with what was said by Casey, when one looks at Destiny and then at Becky, a pattern becomes very obvious. While 15 years removed from that situation, you haven't changed.
That relationship happened when we were both teenagers. We were very, very, very young. And I think watching that interview made me realize more than ever how much I have grown up.
I'm assuming the bedbound eras during that of Destiny and Becky then were learning curves, yes? Real moment situation, eye-widening type deal in Reid's, right? Because the only thing I learnt from that interview to now is how the only thing about you that's changed is your mass increasing and the fact that you repeated your relationship cycle at least 3 times. And that more lines are showing up on your face now. That's about it really, though.
I'm at fault for so many things I've done when I was younger. I've done just a few years ago. I have made mistakes.
Yes, every failed diet and cheating on your ex-partners. We are very much aware of it. You go from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship. There's no way you didn't cheat at some point in your life, and you've put on enough weight over the last few years for us to know for certain that not one person you've ever been with has been the positive influence in helping you lose weight. Thank you for stating the bleeding obvious. You have a type. Your type is usually the one you can control, because Prolynn Reid is a very dainty queen.
I have learned along the way, but using I was younger as an excuse, it doesn't justify, it doesn't make things okay.
You're right, because younger you was just as manipulative, just as coercive, just as inappropriate. You took advantage of somebody that was younger and more vulnerable. You took advantage of a situation, and I remember covering it in my Content Constable when Casey put out a response after you'd accused Casey of sexual assault. You accused them, but then we found out from Casey, no, it was you.
No matter what side of the story that the audience wants to believe.
Unless you provided verifiable proof, irrefutable, the kind that could actually stack up to intellectual scrutiny and rigor, you will never be believed. Why? Because for 10 years on YouTube, you have lied to everyone. And you have lied consistently for 10 years. So it would not be hard to believe 15 years ago you were doing the exact same kind of crap.
Regardless of anything else, it doesn't make anything that happened and that relationship okay. I know a lot of people are asking me about it, and I'm simply not going to talk about it.
If anyone on the bingo sheet had the following, Amberlynn Reid is not going to talk about it after briefly alluding to it, congratulations. Your reward is 10 slaps from Barney Stinson. Now, crappy jokes aside, Amber doesn't have to respond to it. She really doesn't. At this point, she knows she cannot win. Therefore, she doesn't have to respond to it. She does know, though, that to drive up additional controversy, she can clickbait a title to a video alluding to the fact she might respond to it. So she is finding a way to be opportunistic Lynn Reid for a one moment situation type of deal, because it benefits her in the month of December. Although at this time, not so much. AdSense is kinda dead now. Amber knows this because she made no content in December. It was very much repeating the non-tent of the rest of 2023 Lynn Reid's non-tent era. I'm sure she's gearing up for January 1st, everyone. She's going to change. Now, remarks like this aside, I think Amber should respond to it, though. Not just because it would give her additional views, but also because I think there are some gaps in the interview. If she was smart enough, she'd be able to point at it and go, hang on, I'm not going to include the timestamps on purpose because I don't actually want her to know where I've noticed something that's a little bit of a gap. Because if Amber paid attention, she would be able to notice it. That's not to say, by the way, she's innocent, because she bloody well isn't, is she? I also think Amber should respond to it, because her reputation is horrendous at the best of times. An articulated, thought-out, measured response. Conceding where points should be conceded and refuting where it can be refuted is vital for her own reputation. Hers is in the mud anyway, so partaking in some commentary could well benefit Amber, and she has been known in the past to be able to show that. Not remotely on par with Nick Ocado, who I think she wishes she was like, as in money and views. But she can from time to time show an iota of intelligence. It's like a spark on a lighter, though, that refuses to light. It dissipates really quickly. And I think, much like with Amberlynn, the flint needs changing.
One thing you're not going to catch me doing is sitting here saying, well, he lied about this, he lied about this is actually what happened. It's not going to happen here. I care more about moving on, letting go. I'm not going to say this has been easy for me, by no means. I have shed some tears.
I do think there's a point here that's worth raising. Amberlynn is very good at simply moving on and not addressing any of the criticism she gets. Mr. Snowflake has been putting out these absolutely stellar videos, akin to that, but not identical to, Gino Samuel's comprehensive history on Christian, but through the lens of Amberlynn instead. I think it's a very good idea. I had considered doing that years ago. I considered it for Ethan Ralph and even Foodie Beauty. I just don't have the intelligence to do it myself. So when these milestones are hit, it's understandable. Amber's going to look at it and go, but I'm so different now. One could safely surmise in 5 to 6 years' time, when Mr. Snowflake gets up to the likes of Wifey, she may well be on views akin to that of Chantal and would more than likely have to address it, because she's not going to get anything else, is she? Although if she's still a creator in 5-6 years, quite a few people are going to be very disappointed, because they called it too soon, no doubt. Is this morbid enough yet?
But there's power in knowing that him and I are adults now, and we get to choose which route we take. And this is the one that I'm choosing to take, and I'm actually really happy with that. And I just wish him nothing but happiness and wellness. That's what matters to me. A lot happened in that relationship for two teenagers who were literally in an adult relationship.
Two teenagers, yes. Adults, no. Lots of things happened, yes. You won't talk about it, but you are still now talking about it. Contradict Lynn is doing her shittest. Mostly because not so long after this, I have no doubt she's going to say, so it's the next day?
That is what he said in the interview, and it hit me like a train. I was like, that is so true. We were both put in an adult relationship way too young. There was a lot of toxicity from both ends, and I just hope that he's okay. I want to be okay as well, and I kind of just want to move on from the situation. It was 15 years ago, like 15 years ago as teenagers. It's wild.
You're going to find, Amber, that because of the nature of the internet, it is unlikely to simply disappear. How you now respond will not help that situation at all. Bear in mind here, this is a 13-minute video. Of that video, you spend 3 minutes, with multiple ads in that, 3 minutes only, addressing this, but not addressing this. Because Amberlynn is so much better, has grown up so much. Amberlynn is different Lynn Reid, of the different Lynn Reid, Nontentlynn Reid, era Lynn Reid. Great success, Lynn Reid.
But above anything else in the whole entire world, I just want healing to happen for both of us. I feel like that's really important. But that is all I'm going to say about the situation. And I'm going to stand my ground on that, because I just feel like continuously talking about a relationship that happened between two teenagers 15 years ago isn't good for anybody, especially the two people involved.
I like that you talk about how there should be healing for both of you. You've had 15 years of, let's say, undue freedom, undeserved freedom, and zero accountability. Based on US law, you could actually be in legal trouble if that trigger was pulled. You talk about wanting healing instead. I'll be honest, the only healing you deserve involves a pair of handcuffs on your wrists. If they can't find a size big enough, zip ties. But that's my personal opinion, and if others disagree with me, you're welcome to disagree with me. I remember the video from years ago. The interview with Mr. Snowflake does not help you, and you may want healing and to move on, to act as if you're above and removed from, but you're balls deep in this. This law, this canon is yours. You wrote it. Consider your life online as one massive purchase. The receipt is the constant blowback you receive for all the bad decisions you make that you refuse to learn from. You're basically, as a vlogger, Every video of yours is like an episode from the CW Arrowverse. The Flash is a great example of it. You learn a lesson by the end of your episode, and then in the very next video or episode, you make the same mistakes again. You have the exact same big bad at the end of every bleeding season, and you still do not change, evolve, improve, or adapt. You just rely on others to help. I guess the only difference between then and now is that now, not so many of them are on camera, so you've gotten even lazier because you can't rely on them for views. Yeah, so Amberlynn actually has moved on from the Casey interview. It was 3 minutes of the entire video. It really was. Amber now is going to go and talk about weight loss, and I do want to finish with this because it's vitally important to prove the point that when she started this year by saying she wanted to get down to 399, just how badly she failed. And I may sound a little bit harsh here, but to be honest, I think I'm allowed to be because I've been following her for years, and I cannot believe anyone would willingly want to commit to this without wanting to go on 600-pound life.
So I real quickly want to answer something. A lot of people are like, how are you doing with your weight loss? Are you like losing weight? What are you doing? Like, because I haven't really been talking about it. And honestly, I have not been trying. I've just been eating like whatever I want. I have not even weighed myself since I last weighed myself on camera for you guys.
I'm not going to play the rest of her video because there's no point. That accurately and aptly summarised just how lazy she's gotten. First of all, those weigh-ins were a camera facing the ceiling. At least with Nick Ocado, when he and Hungry Fat Chick got on the scales, we watched them get onto the scales. Her response towards the interview, a non-sponse response, yes, is disrespectful to Casey. It is insulting to the audience. It is insulting to herself. Obviously, and most importantly, it is disrespectful to Casey to downplay or to flippantly dismiss by using vague terms that both of you were affected by the toxicity in negative ways. And you've moved on because you're older now. What a load of bollocks, Amber. You should be ashamed of yourself, quite frankly. Do watch Mr. Snowflake's video. It is quite important. I think that Casey deserves a lot more credit and respect, and of course Mr. Snowflake for doing this in the first place. Well, both actually. If you'd like me to, as I have said on Moistski Live with our research streams that I've done, do an interview with Destiny, or try and arrange such a thing, let me know in the comments, because I would like to do that. I think we'd have an absolute laugh, quite frankly, and I have a few questions I really want to ask. So do let me know in the comments if enough people would like that, and we get enough likes, let's say 2,000. How's that? Is that a bit too much? No, fuck it. 2,000. Yes. And I will reach out to Destiny to try and make it happen. As a final thing, I'm going to stream on Twitch later, some trucking. If interested, it's a simulator game for those who don't know. If you're interested, link down below in the link tree in the video description.